is Digital Skills via Passion Projects by James Sy, Empire High School, Vale School District, English teacher. Just to show you the standards, the objectives, in the next few slides, the standards, as you can see, 1A, 1C, 2A, 4A, 4B. This project, it encompasses a lot of standards, and it hits a lot of objectives, and it gives you a lot of leeway to do what you'd like to do. Just to preview, there will be supporting documents, there will be links. This is a screen record, so the workshop, the kind of how-to, and the hands-on activity aren't really there, but it's pretty self-explanatory. Again, here's the objectives and essential questions. Educators will have an activity to digitally engage students by the end of the session. Educators will be able to have an activity that helps students with digital creation, internet use, digital citizenship, producing coherent writing, writing narratives to describe their experiences, basically putting students in informal settings so they do well on formal settings, and then they learn how to communicate without the high stakes pressure is one of the main objectives of this project. I'll attempt to be as engaging as possible. And then the essential question, is this something I will use in my classroom? And again, it's not for everybody, but it can be. It doesn't matter the content. I'm an English teacher, but it can be used in history, science, math, PE, whatever. As long as a student likes something and is passionate about something, they can use it. And then will it help with discussions and engagement? Again, it's a lot of standards, writing and speaking standards. Just a quick background about myself. I've been teaching 13 years. I've actually been doing this since 2016, the Passion Project since 2016. I'm the English department chair at Empire High School and Vale School District, coach basketball and football. Just again, just a quick background. This is all the background that I give, and the project is a way to share and engage with students. They're sharing what they're passionate about. You share what you're passionate about. It builds connections, and it just works out pretty good. And it helps with other things in the classroom too. Anticipatory set, typically, this is what I ask during the actual session. However, again, this is a screen report. How do you incorporate digital skills into your classroom, and how does it engage your students? And it's really to start thinking, are you being intentional about using technology? You may be a one-to-one school. You may not have that at your disposal. You may want to, how do we cultivate kids are attached to their phones? Well, how do we get them to use their phones productively? We all assume that they know how to use technology, but sometimes they don't in the best productive manner. So if you're not a one-to-one school, this still works. You can still, if a kid has a phone, if you want to go to a lab, if you want to use this in a journal, you can use it on multiple platforms. It just kind of depends how you want to meet your needs. And again, like I said, there's going to be links and QR codes to download all the supporting documents. And here we go. So again, the Passion Project background, I said I started this in 2016. I heard about it at a professional development in Georgia. There was a teacher, she was working with students that she was struggling to connect with. They were underserved, at-risk students. And she was telling us a story about how she would take them out in the kind of the community, which everybody doesn't have that capability. I certainly don't have that capability. So I was thinking, how you're a professional developer and you have that aha moment. And I knew I was going to a school in Georgia that had one-to-one capabilities for students. So I started mapping it out. And it's basically a project that they can do an actual project, or it consists of what they would like to learn about. Don't get caught up in, they have to be super passionate about something. As long as they like it or interested in something, we're on good ground, solid footing. It's not meant to be a chore that's on top of the student's already busy schedule. Make sure you give them class time as much as you can afford. So they document the project correctly. The only, obviously, the only parameter in terms of boundaries is school appropriateness. You have to watch that with these young adults and kind of teach them and model them what is and what is not school appropriate to follow their passion. In a nutshell, students will brainstorm about things that they're passionate about, participate in, and again, it can be something that they're already doing. It doesn't have to be necessarily them reinventing the wheel. If they play a sport, if they play an instrument, if they act, they're passionate. They at least like that, hopefully, and they can talk about it and they can share it and just make sure they're comfortable with sharing with the class. Sorry, I'm going to go back. And as you can see, I've used this at Empire High School in Arizona, and I've used this in Georgia, Alpharetta, it's North Georgia. It worked at both schools. And it works with 9th, 10th, 11th, 12th. I mean, you can even do this in 7th, 8th, 9th, 7th through 12th. It just depends on kind of what class you have and how you want to move forward. Passion project standards, it covers a lot, as you can see. Writing standards here, speaking standards here, the technology standards here, and I'm sure there's more, but these are the main ones that I focus on. And again, it's done in an informal way, in an informal setting, and it helps kids. I also do journals in class. I put them in different informal settings so they'll in timed writes, just so they'll be prepared for more formal writing, because you don't become a better writer by hearing people talk about writing. You become a better writer by actually writing. So here's the how-to for students. I give them this. How I roll out my activities, projects, assignments. I let kids digest the expectations. You have to have expectations for them, or they're going to be lost and you're going to struggle. And then also if you're watching this, you can download this now and just do the QR code. So I let them, I typically said, all right, here, I project it on the board. I say, here kids, here it is. They have their computer. They also have it on their computers. I give them about a minute and a half, 2 minutes to read it, skim through it. I know they're not going to read all of it, but then they get a chance to develop either one question, one thing they found interesting, and then one thing they found they're confused about. And I give them a chance to talk. And that's how it goes. And I let them pepper me with questions. I let them know, I make them comfortable. There is no dumb question. Please don't be confused. And that's kind of how we roll with that. And again, I give them a chance to pair, share, discuss. So I'm walking around too, listening for things that they're confused about. You know how it goes. Some kids don't want to speak out, and so you have to kind of prompt them. And typically, students will know their passion, or at least know what they like. But for some students, they need a little more coaching, a little more modeling, a little more scaffolding. And this is called the Passion Hexagon. I found it on the internet, and it works out. It gives them kind of prompts to answer the questions and kind of gets them there. However in depth you want to go, there's also a Thrively eval, aptitude test. But typically, they'll know their passion, or at least what they like. I used to use WordPress. I do not use WordPress anymore. It's for privacy issues. WordPress is open to the public. I like to use Google Slides platform. It's safe, secure. They get to control who they share it with, who views it. And also, had an aha moment during the session. A teacher asked me, hey, do you let kids use Canva? In our district, I believe we purchased a package for students and teachers. I could be wrong, but it also gives us that platform. And I said, sure, go for it. And I had an aha moment of, oh, wow, that's a pretty good option for kids. So again, whatever your school, let your students use, just make sure you understand that there needs to be some privacy because they're sharing personal information. And then also there is a Google tracker, and I'll show you that in a second. go with that. And there's just kind of breaking down this larger document and what you go over in class. Again, you need to remind kids all of this, okay? Because they are sharing their personal thoughts and personal things that they like. So for you as the teacher, you need to be able to track what's going on, okay? So you can track it through, you can be formal with it. Here's a project, kind of an end of semester thing and a year thing. Intermediate, here's a tracker. You need to be able to track their passion posts, their passion blogs. Right here, I just create Google Docs. That's also in the supporting documents. And I have the kids jump on the Google Doc, put their names and then a URL, and you just check it. You give them time, and then you check it, and then you leave comments, and then you have kids can leave comments. They pair, share, discuss. They choose a kid in the classroom. Hey, check out mine. You check out mine, and then leave comments. Again, unfortunately, if you don't grade it or at least keep track of it, participation tends to lag. So here's some examples. They're in fishing, softball, photography. It's what they're already doing. So it's not reinventing the wheel. It's just getting them to highlight. Then you're connecting, you're getting them to write, you're getting them to speak, and you're building relationships in the classroom. So it really is a good project. And I do mine on WordPress because I'm an adult. The kids are not, and I'm thinking about moving into Canva because their templates are really awesome. But I do a passion project with the kids. Like, for example, I have second, third, and fifth English 2 honors. I'll post in second period and I'll type along with them, and then I'll share out with them. And here's kind of some of my posts. And the kids that get a kick out of it, you get to share, you get to see the eyes like, oh. So it gets fun. And you share if you're comfortable with sharing, share out. If you're not, as a teacher, if you're not, don't. But it helps model what you want them to do. Now, a closure activity that you can do at your school, if you're presenting or if a group of teachers is watching, if a group of teachers are watching, you can have this. This is what I did during the session. I had them talk about what they were passionate about, pair, share, discuss. Again, you want to model what's going on. And then they created their own Google slide of what they're passionate about, or at least what they like. And I had them stand up and kind of share out, just like the kids would, and put them in their shoes. And some people weren't comfortable sharing, but they got comfortable. We all laughed, had a good time. So again, modeling is key for this project to work. Participating in it is very beneficial for you as a teacher. And then some things to know, this isn't a magic wand. It needs to be cultivated to fit your classroom needs and style. It's not just you can't just say, all right, passion, go. Kids are going to kind of look at you if you do that. It's not meant to be complicated for students. You will need to steer some students in the right direction, but be careful not to take over for them. You want to encourage boundaries, but not take away their creativity. This requires trust because all students are coming up with their own passion projects, so you will absolutely need to monitor their progress. Be comfortable with the uncomfortable. Some kids' passion, it might not be cool to you. It might be a little weird, but we're all weird and we're all uncool at times. And it's important that you don't have one in front of the class say, oh, wow. Kind of, you know how we react sometimes. So it's important to be comfortable with the uncomfortable. Make sure there are clear expectations. Make sure you're checking in with them whenever you do passion posts. And I typically do them on Fridays when I have a little time, when I don't have an actual lesson to teach. I say lesson. This is a lesson, kind of a life lesson, and it touches on multiple skills. And I typically give them about 15 to 20 minutes. We kind of have here's how we start. We have an anticipatory set, which is Pair share, what have you done for the week? How is your passion going to be displayed? And then they talk, pair share. They do about a minute, minute and a half. I'm circulating the room. And then we jump into, okay, open up your computers. Now post about it. And the minimum is a 5 to 7 paragraph. Some kids go over, and I encourage that. But the minimum that they need to post is kind of 5 W's: who, what, where, why, when. Not formulaic like that, but they need to touch on those 5 things to convey their point, to get their point across, work on those standards in an informal way. And then I ask them to add a picture. If they don't have pictures from their passion, they can add stock images. Again, working on those digital creation, it's touching a lot of standards. And then, after that 15 or so minutes, then I give time, we pair share again. Okay, talk to your partner, shoulder partner, behind or front partner, or triple up, quadruple up. Talk about what you wrote about and maybe why you wrote about it. And then we share out with the class. So it has to be something they're comfortable with. And also, don't lock them into a passion. Well, you do you, but you shouldn't lock them into a passion, because some kids have multiple passions. Some kids, it gets tedious for one passion. So let them change. If they're passionate about 5 things, well, then talk about 5 things. Don't kind of be rigid. I say don't, but you do you, but it's best if you let them kind of explore their passions. And be clear. I think I said this, have clear expectations, and modeling goes a long way. Just over I think I said 6 years, but 2016, it's almost 2024. So about 7 or 8 years I've been doing this. It goes a long way. And then some students need to know that they won't earn points for their lack of participation. And make sure you leave comments on their passion project, Google Slides or Canva or whatever platform you choose to use. And then also have kids leave comments, constructive comments. Again, you have to guide that too, because some kids can be critical and they can be negative, and that's not productive. And then here is where you can download. It's a QR code where you can download all the documents. They'll give you passion project invitations, passion blog tracker, example, like a blank one, the rubric if you want to make it a big project. And again, it's more like a layup assignment for the kids. And I tell them, I typically have like 20 or 30 minors, and then maybe 5 to 6 majors in a semester. It's not, you really have to try to get an F or a bad grade, or even a C or a D, or you have to not do it to get a bad grade. That's what I tell them, because you don't want to grade it harshly, because it's their passion. And also the passion hexagon is also available in that QR code, the Google Drive. And if you have any questions, please email me at sij@valeschooldistrict.org. For any questions, I have more documents that I've kind of just gathered over the years in regards to this. So if you'd like some, just send me an email. And I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you use it in the classroom. I hope you send me an email and say, hey, this is great. I learned something about a kid that I didn't know, and it helped in the overall culture and building connections in the classroom. So thank you for your time. Again, James Empire High School, Vale School District. Have a good one.